Hello and welcome to Hardcast. Join us as we read what seems to have been a script for a cancelled Mad Max movie. I'm Humphrey Erm.
And my name is Chris.
Lifeline, give me Bloodshot, Reborn, Volume 3, Analog Man. Issue 10. It's 30 years since we last saw Bloodshot, and he's now taken on the appearance of an old man, while living in a little far-off village with his wife Magic, during a post-apocalyptic wasteland. It's that time of the month where Bloodshot has to go and steal some water from Los Angeles, and thanks to him being filled with obsolete nanites, the Exo Manowar drones can't spot him. On the way back, he's attacked by Shadow Men, who normally aren't a problem, but are now equipped with goo tech, blowing up the truck he was using. Just as things look dire, he's saved at the last minute by an old ninjak who needs his help. Alright, major time skip.
Yeah. Or is it?
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you wanted to rant something. Do you want to do that at the end, or do you want to get it out of the way?
The end, once we get to the issue in question, because this is great.
Right. Yeah, this is amazing. This is fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's kind of like the whole thing with the whole Book of Death and the fall of the Valiant Universe. It's just kind of cool to see, like, these characters can exist in many different ways. Especially like Bloodshot. I mean, sure, we have a lot of immortal characters in this universe, but Bloodshot is kind of fun because it's hard to say, like, it's more quote unquote realistic, because it's nanomachines, which is just really magic anyways. But still, it's like, okay, cool. Now we've had him as a sort of super soldier. We've had him kind of like as a lone gunman, in the previous 2 volumes. And now this sort of Mad Max inspired world with him, just maintaining this village.
Yeah.
So, and first and before anything else as well, gorgeous art.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
So markers, apparently, based on the end of the books.
Okay.
Yeah, like, did you read any of the, I guess, commentary?
No.
So yeah, no, it's not, super important, but they do mention that he uses markers. That's kind of cool.
I just think it's so funny that he disguises himself as an old man. Like I can just kind of see it that he kind of grew up with magic. Like he just kind of kept to be about the same age and just kind of went with it. I think that's kind of cute.
Oh, true. I didn't even think about that. I was thinking more, I guess, yes, practical reasons in terms of, safety. Like, so people don't question him.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just a sentimental thing.
I'd like to think it that way too, now that you say it. It sounds sweeter.
And then of course during sex she'd be like, go back to Bloodshot. I want to have those sexy 6-pack.
Hey, if you're gonna look like this, then I'm gonna look like that.
Wow.
No, but I gotta say, this is a fantastic first issue in terms of setting up a world, the characters. Like, you get a lot of, what's the word, exposition just from his monologues.
Yeah. Well, as one does.
Yeah, but it feels fine, Like, I don't
know. I mean, I feel like it's something that we've just gotten used to so much, because every time you go into a world like this where it's so drastically different than what we know, you kind of have to monologue. You have to have this film noir-esque explanation of who you are, where you are standing against whatever government is oppressing you and stuff like that, because we need to get that kind of stuff out of the way. We can't naturally find out about it because it would be too complicated. And it would be too long run. Like, you'd have to write like 10 issues to get down to this whole history that he explains in like 5 or 6 pages.
Oh, but exactly. Yeah. So that's what I mean, because other times it can feel a bit... Well, maybe it's because you said it, because it's done through this, like, film noir monologue thing, is maybe not as intrusive as having characters going on about, hey, Bloodshot, remember when that thing happened?
Yeah, that thing just always feels so weird because especially if if something that the character already knows, it just feels so disingenuous.
Mm.
You know, the whole thing, like we've said multiple times on this podcast already, as you know, you did this when you were younger and all that kind of stuff, just so that the audience knows. But with monologuing, it is a kind of a breaking the fourth wall where he is talking directly to the reader.
Oh yeah.
And I don't necessarily mind that. I mean, if you need to set up a story real quick, just do it like that. I mean, that's fine. If you're using it as a crutch in order because you can't like visualize the things, then it's fine. But this is all history, and I'd rather just have him explain it real quick, but then also have interesting visuals. I mean, the whole idea of him bringing out a truck out of the desert, is just interesting, and him monologuing over that, it's like, yeah, okay, we have him doing something interesting, we get to see something visually interesting, and he's explaining something. If the alternative was just like in a film noir kind of thing where a guy's just walking down a dark rainy street, you don't want to have that in the comic necessarily. I mean, obviously, yeah, there are comics that have done it. Yeah, this just worked much better.
Yeah, no, exactly. And with the truck that you were mentioning as an example, they're complementing each other, like what's called the monologue and the art, because they give some information that, for me, I wouldn't really think about it too much, like, oh, how does this truck still work?
Right.
But again, it's, for those who do care enough, some nice little tidbit there about one of the first generation electric power motors. It's like, okay, cool. It's I guess that's how it can keep going without like gasoline then.
Mm-hmm.
Like how in terms of the electricity works, perhaps it's just better batteries by that time, or some solar power maybe.
Yeah, battery that lasts like 20 years.
But that kind of thing, like it's like cool. It adds to it.
Maybe it's the nanites that power it.
Actually, that could work. I mean, if they just need protein.
Yeah.
But again, just like a cool setup. And again, it's I don't know.
Oh yeah, he's actually doing it.
Is he?
Yeah, in page 11, look, he puts his finger into the tank or into the engine.
Holy shit, yeah, you're right. It's got to be what he's doing, yeah.
He's literally putting his finger into the engine. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. That's so funny.
I'm just going to stick my finger right up there.
Yeah, put it right up the asshole. Wait, that accent went wrong.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that was.
I didn't pull it through all the way. Yeah.
But I gotta say, I really like page 13 in that sense. Because there's just something about the fact he knows he's going to have to fight them.
Yeah.
I don't know, I love that. That's like to drive through like unharmed, like, no trouble.
Yeah.
But knowing that they're there, like, as he said, they're not stupid. They're going to let him do the hard work first.
Yeah, of course.
But it's like, okay, fine. Everything's fine. Gonna fill up the water. And on the way back, he knows it's going to happen. I don't know. I love that. It sets up the world further. And it's a scary kind of world that allows for then, these kind of like heroic actions and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of that idea that the Exo Manowar drones can't see them. Because that's just stupid.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
No, because first of all, they can see the tracks that they created, so they can see stuff that does not have nanites in it, right? So unless the entire truck is made out of nanites, which I also don't think is true, because it seems to me it's just a normal truck that's running on nanites. Like,
well,
the
he does
nanites are
mention
generating
it.
the electricity.
I hooked the truck up to the same hollow mask as the cave.
Yeah, but still.
Pump my nanites through it, and voila, we're both ghosts.
Yeah, but it's just one of those things where, from a physics standpoint, I think it's too far of a stretch.
Nah, I can see what you mean then.
Because you can't see through things. Like you can't. I mean.
Well, yeah, there's no data there.
Yeah, exactly. The guy would.
It was like people who don't understand Photoshop. They'll be like, "Hey, can you remove this guy?" And like, well, yeah, sure, I can remove him, but there's nothing behind. I'd have to then reuse things from around him to kind of like fill up the blanks and.
Yeah. Oh my God. Can I tell a quick story?
Sure.
I just had this thing with a guy. I was working for a company. Or I was doing a project for a company that my company works for. It's a big company, but there's this guy who I had to work with, and it was just horrible. Like he was horrible. But anyway, so we're at this car, and there's this thing. I'm not going to explain too much because I don't want people to necessarily know what it is, because I don't know how secretive it is yet. But there's this thing that's attached to, like, it's basically I had to take a photo of a thing, and from behind, like I was setting up the camera. And this guy was talking to this other guy, and they were looking at it. It was on the ground, and they were basically saying, I saw them, they were talking about something, and then I heard something like, oh, that can be photoshopped away. Right? I didn't say anything. I didn't think about anything because I was like, oh, okay, well, it's probably just like some damage on the device or something like that. So then I take the photo. We do all this stuff. We take other photos and stuff. And just generally, he was just really horrible with all this stuff. Like, oh, you can just Photoshop it away. You can just do that. You can just do that. He wanted me to de-blur something. He wanted me to take something that was blurry and sharpen it. It was text and a symbol. And the problem is I actually did deliver it because I just recreated the text and then blurred it a little bit. And then, yeah, so anyway. So the thing he wanted me to Photoshop away from the device was a cable that ran in front of a sticker with text on it, and along the ground and across the device and then away out of the picture. And it was a thick rainbow colored cable.
Rainbow
like thick. Well, it was like a thick cable, like in the sense of it had different colored small cables that were attached to each other.
Oh, like that.
In a line.
Oh, I mean, still, but
Yeah, so it was thick and it was long, and it was on an LED light, like it was surrounding, the cable went to an LED light, and the light was on, and it was blue, and everything was blue around it. And he was just like, let's just Photoshop it. And I'm like, you motherfucker. This is exactly the problem. And then, I mean, obviously I couldn't deliver that to him, and I was just like, I was trying stuff, and then this guy behind me was like, oh, let's just do it in 3D. We have all the 3D data for it. And I was like, I stayed long on Friday for that last week. That was horrible. Did some overtime.
Got my sympathy.
Yeah, well, with the amount of overtime you do, my 2 hours extra that I had to stay longer on Friday was not a big deal.
I suppose. At least I know. Well, that sounded kind of rude. I said, at least I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, well, you know what you got yourself into.
Yeah, that's the phrasing. Yeah, that's the phrasing.
All right, so then, the Shadow Men come and attack him, and he gets saved by Ninjak.
Hey, look, it's Michael Rowe.
Who?
The actor in the Ninjak versus.
Oh yeah.
So we'll get to that for dear viewers, listeners.
Yeah, I think what we should do is just review them all in one go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just do
We'll treat it like a movie.
Yeah, when all of them are out, we're gonna get together and we're gonna do a video about it, or a podcast about it. Hoo boy. Anyway, moving on.
So actually, yes, one last thing. The last page there with Ninjak reveal. Again, one of the things I love about characters like Bloodshot who have like a healing factor.
Yeah.
Love the glass in his head.
Yes.
Again, just illustrates it so perfectly. Like, oh, damn, like, no one should survive that.
Yeah. We get a little of the backstory from inside LA. Ninjak is defending the people of LA from Exo Manowar drones. Apparently the sewers are a safe place since the goo hasn't gone down there yet, and that's where everyone is escaping to. To aid Ninjak, Anomalia, Faith, and Torque enter the scene, but are all quickly killed. Back in the present of our future, Ninjak is trying to convince Bloodshot to help him, but it's not until the story totally Skywalker Ranches Bloodshot that he agrees to help Ninjak to get revenge on his killed wife.
No, I was just going to say, Skywalker ranches the hell up. Like, that's nice.
Right? Is it Skywalker Ranch? Because then I just realized when I was when I wrote that isn't Skywalker Ranch the thing that that actual real place?
I don't think it's actually. I mean, it makes sense. It would be called that.
Yeah,
because I just realized, like, and I believe it's.
But you knew what I mean. You knew what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I mean, this part of the story was literally 1-to-1 from Star Wars and like a lot of other hero journeys.
Well, yeah, it's
they get confronted with a thing that they need to do. They refuse. Then they have some sort of call to action or something like that, and then they go on that thing.
Oh yeah, very
journey.
classical, very classical.
Yeah. But I mean, just the way that I just love how like it was like it's almost 1-to-1. It's like, no, I don't want to. And then he goes home. I want to just go home. And then he's just like, everyone's dead, everyone's burned, everyone's just, yeah, chaos. And then he's like, fine, I'll go. I don't know. It's a little bit weird.
Yeah, but again, it works. I mean, it's the classic kind of thing to do. Yeah, it also frees up the character in that sense.
Yeah.
So now there's no choice really. I mean, what could he do? Yes, live by himself now.
Now we're gonna fridge. What is it called? Fridging the wife or something like
Yeah.
that. What is it called?
So, but it's it
You
all
know,
works.
honestly, her lying there for what would she be now? Like 60? You know, she held
She
it
was
together pretty
no, I
well.
don't think 60. She's like very young from what I could remember.
But it's like so gray hair and stuff, and he looks really old.
Well, I'd imagine living in the apocalypse, you might
Yeah,
get a little
true.
gray hair a little sooner.
Yeah.
So, but again, it's all there. It all works in that sense. So I gotta say, I also
You
like
know,
the whole. I don't know. It's again a simple thing, especially considering feats of strength in like superhero comics.
mm-hmm.
It's not like impressive, but I don't know. I can really feel the weight with him pushing up the truck again.
Yeah.
Like I almost prefer when it's a bit more of a, I wouldn't say mundane, but a little bit more scaled back feat of strength.
Yeah, because then you actually know what like what the strength required would be. You can kind of imagine it.
Exactly. Like I think I mentioned that too. No, wait, you haven't seen the Wonder Woman yet, right?
Nope.
So, but if you compare that with Man of Steel, like Man of Steel has a lot more, like impressive feats of strength. Flying around, tearing down entire skyscrapers. But the more scaled back version of Wonder Woman with that one like main action scene, even though she's not, doing as many or as huge like feats of strength, they feel more believable and you feel the impact more. I don't know. They were a lot more satisfying. I feel in Wonder Woman than they were in Man of Steel.
Why? What was she picking up, or what was she doing?
Oh well, she sort of flips a tank at one point, but it's more about like the running
Oh, okay.
around, leaping, bashing people. It's kind of like the Captain America thing, when you see him like bash a
Right.
shield, and you can see like
Right.
there's an extra ounce of strength than there should be. People fly back rather than just get knocked down. I mean, again, we'll watch it together later, so some good
Oh, we
time.
will.
Oh yes, I decided.
Oh. Oh, okay. Good to know.
So and after that, Justice League, all the good movies of the year.
Ech. Ech.
So, but it's I don't know. I just really like that. It really works. And again, yes, and here the exposition works because he's explaining it to Bloodshot, who doesn't know.
Yeah, of course.
And there's a reason. It's not as Bloodshot. This thing was happening right now.
Yeah, I did get a little bit suspicious at this point. I mean, okay, there's two parts that I was thinking about at the end of this
Mm.
issue. One, part of me felt that Ninjak did a false flag operation, and that Ninjak kind of got ahead of Bloodshot and killed everyone before he got there, and they made it look like it was the Shadow Men so that Bloodshot would join him.
Oh damn.
That well, that was just a thought. I mean, because it was like kind of a coincidence that like exactly on that day that he needed help,
Mm.
then the Shadowmen decided to attack. It wasn't before, it wasn't out, it was just exactly on that day. That's what he was saying, that they just want the water, they don't attack him in his home, all that kind of stuff, because they fear the guns and stuff like that. So why exactly on this day? And the second thing was, I got suspicious because we know how Faith and Torque die.
Mm.
We saw a Book of Death. Why did they die here then? And I was like, okay, well, maybe they didn't die, even though it kind of really looked like they did.
Well, I mean, I guess yeah. I mean, it is the goo, so it could have been something later on. They revealed that they were kept in stasis or something.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, if that was how it went, like that could have been. I would have believed that.
Yeah.
Like the nanites of that, or like the goo tech, just kept them or
Is
something.
that actually goo, or is it just water?
It's goo. It's not like just water coming. It's the goo that controls everything.
Okay, because it looks very like water.
Well, I mean, it is liquid, I guess.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So, but yeah, and we get little flashbacks as well. With them buying the property and all that.
Yeah, it's cute.
Yeah, but it's one of those things you're kind of like, really? No one's gonna think it's kind of weird about just buying. Because what did he do? He said
he accessed the
bank records. I don't know. It's one of those like it's the whole thing. There's no such thing as a free lunch.
Yeah.
It's just gonna like again. I don't care.
Well, he kind of did pay for it 30 years later.
That should teach you to do real estate fraud.
Yeah.
Your wife's dead. Your whole village is dead. The children.
Yeah. First, I made you feel something, and then I took it away.
The IRS waited 30 years before they sent the shadow man after.
They had like a Google Calendar alert that popped up. Then 30 years later, it's like, oh yeah, I still need to do that thing.
Also, another point of me liking the art, especially because you can tell it's not being reused, is that page 20 when what's it called?
I combined everything again. Is it the Ninjak and Bloodshot thing where they kind of talk?
Yeah, like when
4
he's
panels?
like taking it, he wants to shake his hand.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really nice. That could have so easily just been like 3 exactly same panels. But I like that they went the extra effort.
Yeah, and there is a difference too. I mean, some stuff,
Yeah.
sure, I guess it's kind of like unnecessary. Like
Yeah.
it really only had to be Bloodshot's head and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But there's really nice stuff there, and I really love the facial expressions.
Mhm.
Like very subtle. It's not these extreme kind of things, but the sort of what's the word? Not hurt, but just kind of like, all right then, fuck you too.
Yeah.
And it's really sells it, and even the hand too. It's like he pulls it out very straight, and a very dejected kind of lowering of it in the last panel. Again, it's just well drawn and well made done. It's not like really amazing on its own, but it's just I just love it when I can look at a drawing like that and just feel things. Like I don't just see things, but I feel things.
Yeah. This episode is sponsored in part by Detroit Truck Manufacturing. Aftermath of the Fourth Gulf War got you down? Come on down to your local dealer and get your hands on one of the first generation electric powered semi trucks. All American, all electric.
Hot out, thirsty, too many shadow men lurking in the wasteland. Quench that thirst with Ray's crystal mineral water, only the finest from the reservoirs of Los Angeles. He works hard so you don't have to. Issue 12. We see another flashback to when Bloodshot and Magic first moved into the place, only for it to be interrupted by Ninjak and Bloodshot being attacked by anti-aircraft weapons from the Shadow Men. They land near them and go on a killing spree. All the while, Bloodshot remembers all the things from before regarding magic. Eventually, there's just the leader left, and after beating him almost to death, he is informed that they were sent by the man in the tower. No one knows who that is, but they're going to find out. I guess Amazon Prime Video doesn't exist in the future. Yeah, I know, man in the high tower, but yeah.
Yeah, this one was a very quick read, I gotta say.
Well, this seems to be pretty common, though. A lot of volumes we've read feel like they're really more free issue stories. And then there's this one issue of a lot of fighting.
Well, you gotta give the people what they want to see. They want to see Shadow Man's face get squished.
Yes.
I mean, how much fun did the artist have on that, huh?
I'm glad you mentioned that yourself, because I felt things.
Yeah.
I hope you finished your dinner first.
Well, I was reading it on the train on the way to work today, and just oof. That's the one that the person next to me has to take a glance onto my Kindle while I'm reading this.
Of course.
That's the one that he has to look at and go like, oh, what the fuck is he reading?
Yeah. But again, that's the thing. I like the fact that Valiant, for the most part, gets a hold of some really high-profile artists.
Oh, yeah.
I mean that big what's called spread as well. You know, when they leap out of the plane. Oh, love the exaggerated anatomy on Bloodshot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, oh, just that curve. No, but it just looks so lovely. Like, because again, this is the kind of pose that can easily be fudged.
Yeah.
Because again, I'm myself, I'm not that great with like realistic anatomy,
Mm-hmm.
but just getting that stuff to look right, it's so hard. At most you'll kind of have
It looks
to. Hmm?
it looks almost like a photo. Like, I mean, like if I'm looking at it like really close, I mean the texturing on the pants just looks so good.
He's a
I
master with
really wonder.
markers.
Yeah, I really wonder if someone. I mean, I'm pretty sure someone posed for this shot, right?
Oh yeah, no, I mean a lot of it depends on the artist and their deadline. So, because I know like Alex Ross always gets models for his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So like because mostly for like lighting and stuff, so you can get it like looking right.
Yeah, but damn, it looks so good.
Very like oh. But again, I don't know like their output, like how often they can do this, or like I'm sure he probably doesn't then immediately work on issue 5 of another comic or whatever.
Right.
Like he probably did this as a slightly higher paying job, and then he went back to doing covers because I think that's something they wrote in the behind the scenes stuff on this in this volume.
Mm.
They mentioned that they were so lucky to get him off from covers, and they definitely got lucky with this guy because damn, so good.
And it's like, hey, can you do the quality of a cover, but for every single page? No, it's like we would like to have 23 to 24 covers.
Yeah, no, I mean it's great.
Yeah, it just looks amazing.
Little detail. I mean, first of all, it's also the fun thing with like he doesn't need his parachute.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess it is to show just how much of a badass he is, but I always feel like, come on, you're hurting yourself. I mean, yeah, he literally breaks his back or his coccyx or something.
I think it's his
Or no, he
leg.
breaks his leg as well. Yeah, but it's just like, yeah, it's like, oh, look how good of a badass I am. Because I mean, then they also say the whole thing where like, yeah, I can't die, but I can still feel all the pain.
Mm.
But then it's just, and then to willingly just jump out of an airplane just because you won't die. It's just kind of like, I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't risk it. I wouldn't be that much of a dumbass.
Yeah, I know, but it's. I think it kind of what helps it a little bit from being like too, quote unquote cool, is the fact that it's like that awkward fall on his back.
Yeah.
Like it's really awesome post before.
Yeah.
Don't need one, and then like yeah, even says like arg.
Just like, well, that was bloody stupid.
Oh
But,
man,
know,
that's
just...
immediately a much better British accent than the non-existent one in.
But seriously, I mean, no, I mean, I didn't even. No, that wasn't a good one. I could have done much better, but
Yeah, no, but even better than Michael Rose and.
I didn't even realize that that was supposed to be Ninjak at first.
Oh, when you saw him in
again,
his suit.
Yeah, when he came in, but yeah, we'll talk about that then on the
Sorry,
special
just
episode.
I watched the one yesterday as well. I haven't watched the one today.
I haven't watched any of the other ones. I am not. There's going to be another thing where I'm going to have to force myself to do it.
Dude, I do recommend you just catch up as they go. I think it's probably better in like these sort of 10-minute intervals.
Okay.
Because the one from the day before was just 10 minutes, and yesterday's was 13 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I don't really have the time necessarily in the evenings to watch them all, but
yeah, that's what I mean.
I should be able to catch up on Thursday.
Yeah, I think it's better to catch pieces of it than just one long session. I don't think I could stand a whole session.
Oh God, is it? Oh man, why is it? Why did they? Okay. Yeah, we'll save it. We'll talk about that then on the next bonus episode.
Yeah, I was scrolling through and I came to another page spread with them just killing everyone.
Mm-hmm.
With Bloodshot just honestly kind of looks more like Bloodshot's like being pulled. Like his arms are kind of like stretched out, like he's like trying to pull two trucks together or something.
Yeah. He's trying to do the Captain America pose when he's trying to keep that helicopter.
Right. Yeah.
From Civil War. Oh, so good.
Was it Civil War or Winter Soldier?
Yeah, it was Civil War. No, wait.
Either way,
No,
whatever.
Civil War. Must have been Civil War.
Okay, well, either way. But yeah, and then this whole thing there. Oh yeah, and you never saw Moana, right?
No, but I know he does kind of look like
Yeah.
the Rock's character.
So Maui, I think was his name.
Yeah, that's the one.
But yeah,
He even has like a kind of a hooked spear thing.
Exactly. So it's like, oh man.
Well, I wonder who's going to play him in the movie.
I don't know. I couldn't help but try to in my head come up with a fun like, what can I say except you're welcome, killing your family there. I don't know. Can't really do. But yeah, like you said,
another badass moment here. I want to feel this. That all you got? I want you to beg. Oh man.
Yeah. And there to the impact, the cheats.
Yes. Oh god.
Like there's no action lines or anything,
No. And there's no sound effects, nothing.
Yeah, not on that page, you're right. Actually, yeah, that's an entirely silent page.
Yeah.
Oh.
But you can imagine it's just like even in the movie you can kind of hear it. That's like the one where everything kind of slows down and everything is in like slow motion. And you can kind of see that when that Bloodshot pulls up his fist and the blood just kind of slow motion moves afterwards, and you can just really feel it, and just with the tooth flying out.
Beautiful. Oh, I didn't even notice the tooth. Oh,
you didn't even notice the tooth.
I don't know, just like, seeing all the blood there and stuff. Like, you're right. Oh,
yeah.
There in the darkness. Like, oh. Again, the art in this volume is phenomenal.
It's beautiful.
Oh, holy shit. Oh, man, I'm such an idiot.
What?
The last page. I didn't even notice that.
You didn't notice the skull?
No.
Oof.
Maybe because I was zoomed in further. Like, I had it kind of smaller now, so I could see, like, the whole thing.
Okay.
Because I kind of scroll a bit, so I don't think I saw it entirely at first. That's nice.
Yeah, I was reading this on my Kindle, so it was all a little bit smaller than I'm used to anyway. But then I got often a lot of the whole picture, which is nice.
All right, well, let's get to the end.
All right, well, I didn't have time to write a summary for this one, so I'm going to wing it. Sorry, so unprofessional. Bloodshot and Ninjak go through the sewers into LA, and Bloodshot keeps having more and more flashbacks to when the who are they called again? The Rising Spirit, Project Rising Spirit, come and invade their house. And he kind of sees a lot of parallels between the two, and they fight. You see kind of like fighting happening in the present and in the past, and kind of everything like paralleling. And then suddenly Bloodshot finds a younger Ninjak. And then they do a lot of exposition, and then he finds a younger Livewire, or an alive Livewire. And then they explain that this was all a dream. So it was some sort of project, if I remember correctly, that this was like a failsafe that they wanted to keep him like quiet or sleeping until they needed him again, and this was the failsafe. Because the failsafe was that Ninjak and Livewire were in the program or in the virus, and it would wake him up this way. So then they wake up, he wakes up, it's inside a bunker a la Fallout, comes out of what are they called, those Lubke? I don't even know what that's called in English. Like what are those called?
Oh, I know what you mean.
A hatch.
Yeah,
a hatch. That's the thing. He comes out of a hatch and is in a jungle of some sort, and then someone calls his name, and it's blood squirt.
Next, Bloodshot Island.
So we're assuming that he's on an island named Bloodshot.
And this is the last Bloodshot thing I ever read.
Oh no!
I'll catch up with it, but and I read, and I mentioned this in an earlier episode. I can't remember which one.
You literally, you didn't. It wasn't just like happenstance that you stopped. You stopped because of this.
So yeah, I mean, again, I was gonna continue, but I was so angry. The only time I've been angry reading a Valiant comic.
Okay, here comes the rant. All right,
No, but I've
everyone
been
buckle down, get ready. This is going to be fun. We're going to hear Humphrey rant for the first time in the podcast. It's been 80 episodes, and here we go.
yeah, no, but the thing is, again, I've been unimpressed at times. I might have felt things were lackluster, but I've never been angry. And even worse, because there was actually a huge gap between issue 12 and 13.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was buying them as they came out at the time. So, like I read, issue 10. Oh, cool. I love this new, setting. Issue 11. Okay, cool. It's getting exciting. Like, oh, no, they're dead. Issue 12. Like, all right, getting in here, gotta like fight them all. Man in the tower. Okay, who could that be? Is it Silk, maybe? Like, it's really thinking about it. Then there was a gap because I think it's when I moved here to Denmark or something. So I was just busy with other things, and yes, I think I even bought it, but I just didn't read it.
Yeah.
And then eventually, it's one evening, I was just remembering, like, right, I still have that, Bloodshot issue to read. It's the last one before the next one, the Bloodshot Island. Sit down, starts fine, cool. Don't think much of the parallels besides, oh yeah, it's just because, he misses magic or whatever. I didn't even think about the things you were mentioning before about the Faith and Torque.
Mm-hmm.
I was just kind of like taken with it, so I wasn't thinking that's weird or like maybe there's got to be more to it. And then, young Ninjak appears, which is like major, like, okay. But I don't know, it could be some shapeshifter, maybe it's like some kind of goo tech or whatever. Then Livewire, and then no, it's not. No, it's fake. They're a virus put into him to wake him up from this sleep. And I was like, you gotta be goddamn kidding me. You have it was longer than 4 months for me because of the wait. Again, not that I was thinking about it every single day since the third issue here. Like, oh man, I wonder what's gonna happen next. But it was on my mind. And finally getting there and having this, I don't know, like 6-7 month wait or something. I don't know how long it took. And just being told that no, those free issues don't matter. Like all of this world doesn't matter. Like none of this matters. And I'll be the first one to go about how none of these stories matter in that sense. These are just fictional. It's whatever they want it to be. But it's a whole volume that, except for like the last 3 pages or so, are irrelevant to the actual present story. It's not even like there's a later Ninjak volume that has it's not the same thing, but it has kind of like a interesting thing that actually makes sense, even if it's kind of stupid. But this is just, I mean, it's the whole thing, the Family Guy thing. It's a simulation. So I don't know. I think you pissed off a lot of people there.
Right.
And that, yes, they did. Yes, they did. I've never.
Did they piss off a lot of people or just you?
Honestly, because I was really pissed off when I saw, I think it's Comicstorian or Comics Explained. I always mix them up. They're one of these YouTubers who basically, yes, scan the pages and then narrate the story.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's fine. It's kind of cozy sometimes. But he did this one, and I was really curious what he was going to say at the end. And again, the guy's pretty positive, so he's like, he even likes bad comics from Marvel. No, so that's up to him to, what his taste is. But I remember he said something on the lines of like he likes Valiant because they're not afraid to take chances or something. And this is like the definition of not taking a chance. This is a cop-out. This is having a really cool, interesting thing happening. And it's like, nope, it didn't actually happen. I was lying in bed, like fuming.
Oh my god!
Again, wasn't.
And for those people who don't know Humphrey, I mean, he's not a very angry person. I think in my entire life, we've been friends for like what, 10 years now?
Yeah, not a little bit longer. I mean, We
no,
started
we met
school
in
in like
2000.
2006, so it's like 12 years or something.
This summer it would be 2000. No,
Well, like 2006, we
no,
started the IB, didn't we?
yes. So this year it would have been this year in the summer. It's 12 years,
Damn.
right?
Yeah,
I
damn.
think so.
You're old.
Yeah, yeah. It's been 10 years since we graduated. Um, but yeah, so the idea is just in those 10 years, I think I've seen you like properly pissed maybe twice.
I can't even remember those times.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what the reason was, but I do remember you being sometimes like really pissed. I mean, I remember one time you were a little bit annoyed at like the art teacher, but I've like just a couple times I saw you like properly pissed. And just the way that you're describing this is like one of your higher pissed moments.
Which also is kind of like it's kind of nice to know too that this is like this is how hurt I've been in my life. Like this is the thing that gets me riled up. A story written by someone who I'll probably never meet, who was not trying to hurt me or anything, which hasn't otherwise affected my life, and this is what makes me like, argh!
Yeah.
But it's also because I was talking about how beautiful the art was and stuff, and again, the first 3 issues are still fine. It's great. I love the art. But it's amazing how a simple choice like this can just, in a sense, invalidate it in the greater scheme of things. Again, I always think back to that line from, I can't remember which Simpsons episode it was, but it's one of the quote-unquote newer ones, because I think it's probably over 10 years old now. But it's something like they're in the comic book store and...
It's as if Superman moved to Gotham City.
Which he did in World's Finest Comics number 94. See?
That was an imaginary story dreamt by Jimmy Olsen after he was kicked in the head by Supergirl's horse Comet. It never really happened.
None of these things ever really happened.
Get out of my store.
But that's the thing, it's like, it has to matter within the continuity. I don't know, it just doesn't... Again, I mellowed out since, you should have seen me at the time.
Yeah.
I made like an angry live stream or something.
Yeah.
To no one, because no one follows me on any. I don't even think I have anything. I guess YouTube I could live stream, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I get where you're kind of coming from, I guess, but I mean, it's just, I am also kind of in the same boat where it's just for me, I was a little bit like, come on, really? Like, it's going to be a dream kind of thing, but I guess I wasn't too pissed because I wasn't as invested as you are.
Well, yeah, you read it all in one go.
Well, not only that, but also I just don't care that much. I mean, I like it, but it's not like I'm like, oh my god, what's going to happen next? And so yeah, it is fine and it's fun to read, but I'm not getting my panties in a bunch. But yeah, I was a little bit disappointed that it was, because I really don't like those stories, because I feel like it just kind of, as you said, it invalidates the entire story. I mean, sometimes they do it well, like if a character learns something from it, or...
Well, like a Christmas story or a Christmas Carol.
Yeah, like the Christmas Carol. I mean, but that's like kind of the premise from the beginning, and it's kind of ambiguous if it was a dream or not.
Yeah, like is this really like real ghost doing the stuff, or...
Right, or did he just dream it? But either way, the action, it has consequences in his life, and he actually does do something. But sometimes I just hate it when, like with the Family Guy thing, because they were always talking about how Stewie wanted to kill Lois. And then they actually want to pull it through, and they make a big deal out of it. They make a whole thing like, oh, it's advertised, like this is the one where he finally kills Lois. It's finally going to happen. And then they're like, psych. And that just feels shitty to everyone, because yeah, we got to see it, but it didn't really happen. And now everything can go back to normal. So I don't know. I just feel like those kind of things are just, yeah.
Yeah, but it's also funny how a lot of these things, how simple framing devices can change how you feel about it.
Yeah.
Like honestly, the whole the Family Guy thing with Stewie killing Lois. I mean, again, it would still be kind of shitty, but I feel it wouldn't have been quite as bad if they just made some weird thing that this was a parallel dimension. Like again, they're still
Yeah.
stupid, but at least it did happen within this multiverse. It sounds so stupid saying it like that, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, but even then it would have been, yeah, like, I mean, building on that, I mean, it would be so funny if, like, Stewie realized that he really missed his mother or something like that, or whatever, and then he just, like,
Brought her back
builds
or
a
time travel. Actually, that would be
yeah,
better because then he did do it,
exactly.
and then it kind of
Yes,
shows
and
we fixed Family
yes.
Guy.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what I mean is that he could have built a device that would then either bring her back or time travel and then stop himself from killing her, and or even jumping a dimension a la, Rick and Morty, and then either to a dimension where Stewie dies, or he kills Stewie himself and then takes his place, if you want to go morbid with it. But that's what I mean is, like, you keep it actually happen, because especially if it's something where you don't know it's going to be a framing device, you start getting invested, and then to have it be like, oh, it never really happened. Like, I for whatever reason, I started watching Push. Right?
What's that?
I think it was called Push. It's that one, that Adam Sandler movie where he has that remote. Yeah, he has like a remote control.
Oh, Click.
With which Click. That's the one, not Push.
I get what you mean.
Sorry,
Of course,
sorry.
you push about the okay.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
And it sounded a
the
little bit more badass. I felt Push.
Yeah.
Seeing like Adam Sandler's like driving like a car with guns or something.
Oh God. Have you seen it?
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, but that was one of those where I think that was the first movie I watched where that was the twist at the end. It was all a dream, and I got so annoyed because I was like, but then because especially if I remember correctly, the episode kind of ended pretty abruptly after he got up, and it was less of a like, all right, now we're going to see how he's changing his life for the better, or actually making sure that he enjoys every moment of life, even the shitty moments and stuff like that. It was just like, if I remember correctly, he just got up from where he fell asleep in Bed Bath & Beyond and then just walked out being all like, I'm going to be a better person kind of thing. And then the movie just ended there. And I felt so betrayed because I loved the idea that there were so many consequences. And I think in the dream, he dies of old age because he just let everything flow past him. I was like, that would have been such a nice ending.
Yeah, because he managed to stop his son, like his children, from doing it. Like, he's there in his dying breath, telling him like, no, don't waste life, or like, don't appreciate it. Don't do the same mistakes I did.
Right.
And I've always liked those kinds of stories where it's too late for the current generation.
Right.
But, it's the next generation that can benefit from the lessons learned.
Because it feels real. It's something that's like proper, and it's just nice to kind of, I mean, obviously it's not nice in that sense, but
no, but it's kind of like it's real. Like, that's how life is,
Yeah, because life has consequences.
Yeah, and yeah.
Yeah, anyway. But I mean, I do like this comic. I mean, it was better than a lot of the last ones that we've been reading. And I actually enjoyed reading it and got back into it a little bit. So much so that I actually reread the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Volume 1 again, because I've been always reading in bed, and I kind of am like half asleep while I'm reading in bed. And so I decided today on my lunch break on my way home from work, I was going to read the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers again, and it's so good. Like it's ridiculously good. And I caught so many more things now that I was alert and reading it, and I was like, okay, I really need to just sit down and enjoy this book, and I'm going to get the next volume and the next volume, because it's really well drawn. I mean, not this level, obviously, but it's amazing, and I would really recommend people to check that out if they have any inkling of liking Power Rangers.
Yeah, sure. No, that'd be cool. I have been curious about the crossover they did like last year with DC Comics.
Oh yeah.
I've only seen like a page of that with them kind of like talking about how brooding Batman is.
I think it was a different
continuity.
It was a different, because there's 2 Power Ranger books out right now. there's the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which is one kind of saga, and then there's I think there's something that's called just Power Rangers. If I'm
the just part isn't there.
no.
That's how like the title, like the Power Rangers and at the top.
Right. There's Go-Go Power Rangers.
Oh god, it's like Spider-Man levels of annoyance.
Yeah. So there's basically one that's called Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which is a little bit apparently a little bit more serious. That's the one that I'm reading. It's the one where it's kind of like an alternate universe of where Tommy goes bad instead of going like getting released from Rita's control, and then actually goes bad. And then there's Saban's Go-Go Power Rangers, which is a different continuity. And I'm not sure which one. Okay, so the Justice League crossed over with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Cool. Well, then I gotta ask the important question: is it Bulk and Skull in there?
Yes.
Okay, good. Then I'll read.
Yeah.
The true stars of Power Rangers.
Well, yeah. In the at least in the first volume that I read, yes, they are in there, and they're kind of prominent. They even have a little at the end of the comic. They have their own little adventure thing,
like a backup issue.
Yeah, like the 3 or 4 page issue kind of thing.
Oh damn, that's more than I'd give them.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, before we finish this whole thing off, seeing that I just went onto Comixology to check the Power Rangers thing, there's a sale for Valiant Comics right now.
Oh, I should go in on that.
Yeah, it's it's a spotlight sale. So a lot of the books that we've already read. So if you are at all interested and you have a Comixology account, you get to save up to 67%.
Not bad.
So there's quite a lot of, you can get Bloodshot Reborn. Actually, no, you can actually get Bloodshot Reborn Volume 3 Analog Man, the one that we read right now, for €4.50.
How much to get the first 3 issues of it?
No, it's just the volume.
Yeah.
But you could literally get Bloodshot Reborn Volume 1 to 4 for less than €20 with this sale right now. So if you are at all interested, I don't know if this sale is also in America and everywhere else where our listeners are from, but on the European one, it goes until the 17th of May. So if you want to, go check it out.
All right.
And also buy Mighty Morphin Power Rangers if you're at all interested.
Yeah, I'll give it a try. If nothing else, I'll definitely be buying the Action Comics number 1000.
Ooh, yes, I heard about that.
I don't really care about quality, and sure, as a digital comic, it has no value at all. They're not going to be worth anything anyways, because they're going to make so many of them.
Yeah, of course.
I think it'll be the first time probably since Superman died that they'll sell like over 1 million issues.
Damn.
But yeah, I'm just curious. Like it is like I like any kind of like story, but milestone like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that's impressive.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Anything else to say?
No, I think I said my piece.
Yes, you did. It was glorious, and I loved it. Finally, you also. It's been 80 episodes. We're actually getting too close to a milestone too.
Yay!
You can discuss this episode on Reddit. You can tweet us, or you can follow us on Facebook. Also, all of our episodes are available on our hosting site, Podbean. Links are in the show notes. Catch us next time for
Imperium Volume 4 Stormbreak. It's the last one.
Yeah, but still.